I would like to give you a little thing. As I was talking to people today, a lot of people was asking, what should I do? What do I need to do? What are my options? And it does have something to do with time management, but it's also about really your choices. So there was a little story that said that there was a clay Buddha, and it was in a temple, and that to be moved. And when they tried to move the Buddha, it started cracking. And so people stopped moving the Buddha because they were afraid that it will crack completely and break. And as a monk was praying by this Buddha, he realized that there was a glimpse of gold. So what happened there really is that centuries before, they covered the Buddha in clay. It was all gold. But they covered it in clay because they were afraid that the invading army will take it away. Now that has been kind of, so they start basically taking off all the clay and discovering the golden essence of the Buddha. So that's a bit like that for you. I know that in the short term you might need to accept jobs, and that's all right. It's part of what we need to do. But please do keep in mind also to cultivate the self-awareness of what are the things that you want to do. What is your essence? What brings you joy, all right? And I put this in my pocket because I forgot I need it. So who am I? And yes, this 20 years of experience really give away my age. But yeah, I have 20 years experience in career in corporate jobs. I'm also an accredited EMCC coach and mentor. I have other qualifications, but mostly what I do, I help people to understand what are their skills, what is their holistic view of what they want to do, what works with their life, with their liking, and with their strengths. So today we talk about time management because I thought that 30 minutes will that will be my best gift for you. Because time is one thing that we will never have more. You have a set amount of time in the day, in a week, in a month, and we need to fit a lot of things, especially if you have demanding jobs and then you have a family on the top of that. So we will talk first of all about what is the time management, but I'll also give you several tools that you can use. And the way that I present it is more like a journey, right? If you have from overwhelmed to a streamlined way to do your things without feeling overwhelmed anymore, feel free to use the tools the way that it works for you. You don't need to use them exactly this way. So time management. Time management is pretty much what it says on the box. It's how you use your time for the several tasks that you need to do during your day or, to achieve your goals. The benefit of time management are listed there. The most important is really the benefit on stress, because you move away from a situation where you feel like firefighting all the time with the demands of people to actually a situation where you are in control. And whatever is the field of your life, when you're in control, you feel much more relaxed. You don't feel like your life is out of your scope. You're not waiting for external factors to take over. You just know what's going on. What happened with time management is, the important thing is awareness. So it's not exactly the way that you have been using your time, it's the way that you wanted to use it. And this rule, the Pareto principle, I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, is used in several fields. So the way it started is that this economists find out that 80% of the wealth in Italy was in just 20% of the population. But then he started noticing that this rule was actually applicable to other things as well. And in time management, the way they translate for us is the 80% of your result will come from as little as just 20% of what you do. So 20% of what you do is actually giving you the vast majority of the results that you're trying to get. That is a massive statement. So how do you use that? First of all, we say we need to start with awareness. So we need to know what it is that we need to do. So you should start with doing a complete list of all the tasks that you know you need to do, and also the one that you know that you should really do, but you're not doing it because maybe you don't have time. So, and then you need to look at it like, what are those 20% of tasks? What is that part of task that if I do, I can say that I've achieved most of what I can do? What is going to bring me the most benefit? What is bringing me closer to my goals, right? You need to really focus on that. Those are the tasks that you cannot not do. The rest is just noise in your day. It's just noise. It keeps you busy but not productive. And then, as I say, I'm very much fact-based and lots of tools. This is the Eisenhower matrix. What Eisenhower tends to say is that I have two types of problems. One is urgent and one is important. What is urgent usually is not important, and what is important is usually not urgent. And this connects a bit with your goals in the long term. We were talking about having that list of goals, of tasks, actually. What you will need to do next is to try to assign to those quadrants your task. The most important are the ones that are not urgent, but important. This is probably the 20% of tasks that you identify in your Pareto exercise. The problem with those is that since they're not urgent, they don't have a deadline, we don't feel the pressure to do them, and we procrastinate on them. So we keep being busy, we keep doing things, we keep answering to emails, and we get that impression that we've been buzzing all day, but we really didn't do anything of value. So that's here. What you do here is you need to set a time to do it. That could be as little as, for example, if you're looking for a job, you might send 20 CVs today, but you didn't set that 1 hour to put that CV down to the T. That is actually selling the best part of you. You've been sending 20 CVs, but if you did first that exercise of writing that CV in a way that really speaks your value, then you actually give him more results. All right? Then there is, of course, the things that are urgent and are important. You just do them. There is no question in there. It's like if you want to apply for a job and today is the deadline, you just do it. There is no thinking. The delegate part, a lot of people say, but I'm by myself. It's not like I have a team. Who I delegate it to? Those are the ones that are urgent but are not important. We've been talking about AI. I've been hearing people talking about AI. We can automate a lot of things. You can just schedule it. You can delegate it to technology. You can delegate it to automatic payment. You can even delegate it to ChatGPT. You don't need to spend that much time to... You can write down a paragraph, and then you can put it on ChatGPT and say, can you make it prettier? And then adjust it on that. Just get creative with those two boxes. Deleted is the ones that are really not adding any value to you. They are distraction. They are repetition of work. So when you look at their list, look at very in a cruel way. What do I need to take off to make space? Time management is not about fitting more into your day. It's about fitting the right stuff and fitting more about your own life, the things that are value for you as a person. Because we are in a job expo, but we are people, and we have our liking, we have our friends. I've been hearing just the talk before me. Connection is important. You cannot just work. Put that into the pot. Another technique that I'll give you is very good for procrastination. It's called the Pomodoro technique. Now, Pomodoro is not the person that came up with this, but Pomodoro is exactly that in Italian. That's a tomato. So this engineer was studying, actually, to his thesis, and he found himself procrastinating a lot. So what he did, he took a normal kitchen timer, and he put it on 25 minutes, and he will work very, very strong for 25 minutes. No distraction whatsoever. And just take 5 minutes break. And doing something like a walk or something. A lot of people tell me, oh, but 5 minutes is nothing. What do I do in 5 minutes? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you actually take the break from what you're doing, from what you're learning, from what you're reviewing. Because it helps a neurological process that is called consolidation. So when you take a break from your learning, from your sending CV, from your preparation, from your rehearsal, when you take a break, it helps the storage of information in your brain. And even just 10 seconds has been proven to actually create that incremental strength in your brain and that incremental learning. It's a bit like when you are stop doing everything and you're doing something completely unrelated. Maybe you're walking the dog and all of a sudden something comes up to you, the solution to something just pops in your mind. The brain keeps working on stuff. So take those breaks. They're vital. And then after a few, you take a longer break. Another thing that is good to add with on top of this technique is actually having time blocks. So whenever you plan your 25 minutes, make sure that you do just one task. There is a lot of people that, and especially jobs I see, when they ask for multitasking is nothing good for you or for your brain. It's not natural to you. It actually makes you 40% less productive. And what is worse is that in the long term, it's actually impairing your prefrontal cortex to take that critical thinking. So it makes your brain weaker in the long run. So don't do it. Another thing that I suggest people to do is planning. And a lot of people are very much against planning. They feel like it's a cage. Why do I need to put something so strict in place? It doesn't have to be strict, but you need to give you a guideline. The idea of this tool is 18 minutes planning. As you start the day with 5 minutes, you review all the things that you need to do. And then timely, if that is 8 times, so for people that work for 8 hours, you take a mini break and you see how are you doing in terms of yet to-do list. This is avoiding basically to go at the end of the week, of the day, that you feel like I didn't achieve anything. Sometimes it happens. We happen that the day happened on us and we have no control over it. And again, we are in that stage where we don't have any control. By doing that, you actually give a structure to your day. You know where you're going, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to achieve for the day, and where is that bringing you in the long run. Of course, then, the fact of checking out where are you with your list is not just about progress. Question it. Be curious about what is your time consuming. If you didn't do as much as you wanted to do in that hour, why is that? There was something that you allocated too little time for it? Did your brain start diverging and start thinking about other stuff? So maybe you need to take care of that. Maybe you need to bring back that concentration. If there is something bothering you, you will not be productive. And one last tool is Eat That Frog. And that's because somebody say that if you need to start the day, in the day you need to eat a frog. If you start the day and you do it at the first time in the morning, nothing bad can happen the day. The worst already is done. And that happens usually, that frog for you is the worst task that you need to do. The one that you are procrastinating, the one that you keep pushing back, the one that you don't want to do it because it's too big, it's too scary, it's too unpleasant to do it. Do it first thing in the morning, and then you feel already like you accomplished something. You feel already like your day is going to be easier because that scary stuff is gone. And if it's so big, so scary, maybe split it in two. Just make it in chunks that you can manage, but face it. Don't keep procrastinating it. It's going to hang on your head for the rest of the day. Last thing, as you can see, it looks like a list of things that are not related to time management. It is. We are talking about taking the breaks, sleeping, not using television or blue screens 2 hours before sleep. The reality is that to be productive, you need to have a brain that is focused, that is rested. You need to have a body that is working. You cannot work on pain. Your brain is going to be distracted. You cannot work on sleepless night. To be productive, you need to be ready for that. And then again, there is the smart work. So don't try, again, when we talk about time management, don't try to put as much as possible in your day. Be focused on what you're putting in your day. What is the benefit of you doing that? There are things that you will need to do because you need to do it, and that's all right. But try to limit them. Try to see what is the benefit for you to do those things. Try to connect it to a longer-term goal. There must be something in for you. There must be something that is making you grow as a person, is developing. All right? And then reflection time, because the experience without reflection is just to give you the impression of learning. I know I've been very fast. I know we are a bit late on time, so I try to be very, very fast. But the idea of reflection is, we've been talking about several things. We've been talking about what is time management. We've been talking about Pareto. We've been talking about Eisenhower matrix. I don't know how many of these tools you knew already, and I don't know which one you want to use. But think about it. What is the issues that you were trying to get with time management? What are the insights in this talk that you had? What are the things that you think you're going to bring in your life? What are you trying to implement? What are the ideas? How you want to change it? And what is going to be your intention? What is that you're going to do next? So I give you a suggestion for the next. So I have a workbook that is highlighting all those tools and is giving you the time, the space to write it down, and so you can just follow step by step. If you want a PDF copy of that, just drop me an email. I will be happy to give it for you. It's free. And the same if you want a free session, just drop me an email and we can chat a bit more about it. Is there any question? Those are my details for you.
Consiglia Sorge, everyone.